Uh, Hi guys, it's Ona and Dr. Vicky, and today on March 12th, 2025, we are recording a video for the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, conjunct the South Node, while the sun's having a party with Saturn on Friday, March 14th at 1:55 a.m. So even on the West Coast, it would be March 13th. It's like Thursday to Friday in the middle of the night.
Right.
And then the eclipse starts to happen like right after that. So I don't know if there's even going to be a moment that the moon is going to look really, really full, except maybe on Thursday night, right?
Towards the end, when the eclipse is at its peak, then you'll see the moon.
Which
Right.
should be right about the time it's setting. Or putting on her pajamas, like I like to say, like a night in the morning.
And of course, she's in Virgo.
Yes.
And Virgo is the energy of Mother Mary.
Okay. Okay. So interesting. I had some moments of like Christ consciousness coming in, and I thought, I don't know if I can like empathize with that kind of energy right now because so much chaos is going on. I think I want to sit in a pile of my own crap for a while. And, but it really, really makes sense because in recent times, as they've become somewhat turbulent in my own personal, I reached in for the Mother Mary statue and put it on top of the altar. Okay. For real. For real. And with that being said, if anybody watched the video on Sunday, it was a short where I took giblets out on the lake and I said, we're looking for a robin, the first robin of spring, make a wish before they fly away. Your wish will be granted. So I brought the dog home because I couldn't find one and then went off on my own to the cemetery where I knew I would see a robin at some point, and it was pretty chilly out there. And as I was kind of walking around and weaving through the cemetery and looking at the headstones and kind of getting pulled to the energy that felt kind of nice, right? And I look at the headstones and sometimes I move the things away to see the names of the people. And I cleaned up a stone that said mother. And I'm like, great, Ma, we need to talk. Like, what the hell is going on? I can't, like, it's really hard to maintain a normal, peaceful, I'm supposed to be a healer kind of person when things are so chaotic. Like, what's going on? And very soon then saw a robin, and I'm like, just stay right there. Right. I saw the robin and I'm like, I got to get a picture of this. I was so worried I wouldn't get a picture. I got closer and closer, close enough thinking Robin might be sick, talking to it like it was the priest in a confessional kind of thing, talking to the Robin. Said enough, walked away, kind of tracking it. It's still there. And I thought, it's not a sick bird. Is it a sick bird? And finally made my way back. The bird popped up, moved around, flew away. It looked perfectly healthy. On my way home, after I thanked the stars, I'm like, okay, so you heard everything I said. And on my way home, I took a little different route every time just to kind of scope out the neighborhood and found this tiny little art enclave artist area, tiny little store, was probably a bodega, have a sign up about tarot and neuro arts, full moon mingle kind of stuff, all these things that I really enjoy. And I thought, took a picture. I felt such a sense of peace. And I sat on that for a couple of days thinking, this is really cool, but is this even for real? And sign up for a couple of classes. So this is where the full moon sort of kind of makes sense to me, is just like the verbally reaching out and getting a result that you just gotta trust the universe is gonna detour you. And it is a detour in the right direction. Can we look at the chart?
Yeah, before we get there, I just want to, I'm looking at the Robin medicine, and
Yes.
it says it's time to go to let go of anything in your life that's outmoded, stagnant, and plant the seeds for new by setting your goals and intentions for the coming year. Let go of your attachment to drama and allow as much joy and laughter into your life as possible. Your spiritual path is steady and slow, with challenges along the way. It inevitably leads you to achieving your spiritual ideals. You have a beautiful song inside of you. So, whatever it takes to share it with the world, expect new growth and in a number of areas of your life. Make a wish, be patient, and watch how it comes true.
Okay, good. Good. So I wished for a lot of things because I had a lot of time. And I truly, for by the time I got home, and it's been a very long time that I can compare this sense of peace to, um, felt a sense of peace. Like, even if the sign, um, here we go, let's look at the chart.
I'm going to make this a little bigger. So let me.
Even if the sign from the universe is a moment of a sense of peace, that is a sign. That is a direct answer to a request. So I haven't been pouring a lot of attention into what, Elon is doing and Donald so much, because honestly, it's like my own stuff needs to be prepared.
That's right. That's right. And that could be the value of some of this, like it's happening for a reason. We don't always know. But by disrupting people's lives in the way that they are, they're really forcing people to kind of look at their lives and decide what's important and if this is something they really want. Now, I know that sounds kind of glib, perhaps, but there's a value to this. And to a certain extent, we have to be shaken out of our lives in a way so that we can plant a new seed for a new day
Yeah.
and start moving in that direction. With the Neptune about to move into Aries, and next year Neptune and Saturn and Aries together at that Aries point, that world point. We really have to decide who we really are and what is it that and how do we want to put our energy out into the world, because we're co-creative with spirit and we can create to a certain extent our reality. The more people who understand that, the more likely it is that it can happen that way.
Yeah.
It's like opening the door to a higher perspective on everything that's going on. And I think, with these eclipses, eclipses are known for opening doors.
Yeah. Notoriously, eclipses have been times of an ominous kind of sign, because before you knew about the math
Hmm.
behind it, it's pretty freaking creepy
Hmm.
for it to get dark in the middle of the day for 45 minutes and then it starts to get later. So it always like
Or
with,
the moon to turn blood red. I
yeah,
That couldn't have felt very
yeah.
good to the folk when the only thing they knew was red was blood.
Unless you're fishing for shark, right? Honestly. But you see down on the at the top where the moon at the
Mhm.
very top there, I would say at noon. I mean at
Yeah, it's pretty high up in the sky. Yeah, for sure. Right up like
is,
that.
yeah, is right next to the south node. So Virgo next to the south node, I would say, and I've said it before, if you're taking yourself very seriously, And this goes for everybody, even people that don't think the same way or vote the same way that we do. If you're taking yourself really, really seriously, it's time to reevaluate that. Virgo is pretty serious, detail-minded,
Perfectionist,
right?
doing it exactly right.
And the South Node is saying, get
I think it's also connected to because the moon in Virgo and Virgo in general is an energy of feeling like you haven't worked hard enough for it. And I think that we have to let that go. We have worked hard enough. Um, and we need to utilize North Node uh, in Pisces, our imagination. This is the intellect. This is
yeah,
imagination. And so there's a certain amount of even what's that expression when you uh, there's an expression where you sort of like take the logical out of it.
like
And
remove the ego.
yeah, it's not it may come to me. If it does, it'll just pop out of my mouth in the middle of something else probably, but um yeah, but like allowing yourself to dream a dream
Mhm.
instead of giving yourself all the reasons why it can't happen.
You mean getting in your own way kind of thing?
Well, letting perhaps it is the moon, so and Virgo is critical, but it's less about like you need to critically think like that we need to be able to do. That's what Mercury does. But the moon is feeling, and maybe not judging your feelings or not being critical of the feelings that you're feeling, or um and anything that's going to make you feel less than, that you're not good enough, that you haven't worked hard enough, that it's sort of like one of the things that they're talking about in the outer world is that they want people who are Medicaid to work. They want a work requirement for people who are on Medicaid, except that most people who are on Medicaid already work.
I know. I don't know where that like
And all that really does is it puts another layer of, well, we have to prove that these people are working before they'll get what they,
you do have to, and you have to go have a monthly or yearly income under a certain amount to qualify. So you have to earn an income to actually qualify.
right, unless you can't earn an income and then you're on disability, right? So,
It depends on, you can apply for it, but you have to have a disability.
and unfortunately, this full moon can also be a letting go of things like Medicaid,
Yeah.
right?
Well, then it has to be replaced. This is what the problem is everybody recognizes that things are very corrupt, but we're pulling the plug before we have a plan to replace.
Well, and most of the corruption happens on the business side of things, not on
Yeah.
the administration of services to people. It's the doctor's offices sometimes, where you have, I mean, that guy, not the governor, the Scott from Senator Scott from Florida, like he was found guilty of like $1 billion of Medicare fraud.
Hmm.
And what is he? He's a senator.
Hmm. Was he
And
a physician?
you're gonna blame, hmm?
Was he a physician?
No, he owned like a nursing home or something.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
For sure. For
And
sure.
so instead of going to jail, he got to go into the Senate because he's a Republican and it's Florida. And he wants to get rid of Social Security. He's one of the guys who wants to get rid of Social Security.
Oh, that's because when it appears that it doesn't directly affect you and you have like, I think no empathy, that you're gonna do whatever, I honestly, I hope the way that this full moon lunar eclipse is riding over the United States, that people are genuinely, as Uranus is pointing out right there, sort of poke through the earth, like the earthworm, like the earth moon, earthworm moon,
Right.
and you know, get this like in motion, get these ideas out. I think this is a good aspect to have with Uranus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that,
it's nice this time that Uranus isn't like square
yeah,
stuff. Like it's been square a lot of the lunations, and the trine and the sextile.
yeah,
Uranus is there to help us. And I do want to point out that Uranus and Saturn are in a sextile to each other
yeah.
in this. And it becomes exact, the sextile becomes exact April 3rd, I think.
Okay.
And this cycle between Uranus and Saturn, the synodic cycle lasts about 45 years. So it's coming to the end. It's coming to the progressive change part of the cycle. And, this is an opportunity for us. This is a golden opportunity, really, for us to take care of people. Saturn in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, like a redistribution of resources.
Yeah.
We could use this for that energy is there for this, but we have to we I don't I actually had a reading today, and somebody said to me, is it going to be okay? Or I think she asked me if I thought Kamala Harris would become president when they come up with the fact that he cheated and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, I said, but whatever is on the other side of this, I think we have to kind of understand that this was a necessary step to get us to a better place instead of seeing it as the destruction, um, just like in its destructive ways.
Yeah.
There's opportunity. There's always opportunity at the border of order and chaos. Is the opportunity and the ability to break through to the next level. And I guess when you're breaking through, some things break, as long as it's not your head, I guess.
And this is where this sort of eclipse is kind of carrying us through that kind of energy where it's like it's sort of like this breaking point, tipping point kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a big release.
Chaos is the only thing that brings change. Unfortunately, we've landed ourselves on that kind of model on this earth.
Well, I know, but I think like change is happening all the time. And sometimes we have, small incremental change. There are times when there's small incremental change, and then there's time when there's big changes, and we're
Yeah.
at a big change time. And there's really nothing you can really do about it because the energy of change is there. So you have to do the best to utilize it. So focus your attention on what it is that you want to create. The Sun and Saturn conjunction kind of sounds like, oh no, it's the Sun Saturn conjunction. Because it does have that, and it's a reality check. But it's also like planting the seed for a reality in a way, right? So the Sabian symbols are interesting for this one. The moon at 24 Virgo, Mary and her little lamb, right?
Hmm.
And we had Mother Mary on your altar, right?
Yes, for
And her little lamb is Jesus, right? Mary's and her little
yeah.
lamb, whose fleece was white as snow. Wherever Mary went, her lamb was sure to go. The spiritual practice of innocence. The more we progress in spiritual maturity, the more oops, so sorry. Funny how that happens. The more we radiate childlike qualities and purity of spirit, the spiritual practice of innocence. And that's in opposition to the sun in Pisces on a small island surrounded by a vast expanse of sea. People are seen living in close interaction, self identification. We must choose how to interrelate with others so the need arises for an acceptable yet authentic identity. Use conflict as a mean to learn compassionate acceptance.
And this is all conflict that we're sort of like
Yes.
getting ahead, like our heads into right now, even in our own heads with this. And the ruler of this moon is going to go retrograde the next day. So even more sort of like brain fog, buzziness kind of thing that I think is generating in this full moon.
Yeah,
Also have this
as you can see, Mercury is stationary because it's going to be turning
yeah,
retrograde. It's conjunct Venus, and this degree where it turns was, I believe, the same degree or close to the same degree that Venus turned retrograde. So this is a hot degree, and then for the new moon that we're going to be doing on moon shadows, which is a solar eclipse, is actually at 9 degrees of Aries. So there's this sense of something coming to an end, but the seed of the new beginning is within it.
yeah. It's a good
So
time to
I
plant some seeds too, for sure. I also am getting that same kind of fermentation thing. So this, and I don't know if it's just what's going on around everything. I mean, I've had windows up, it's been super windy, is this kind of alcohol, produce alcohol, like alcohol that happens when produce starts going bad, fermentation. And it
well,
may
maybe that might even have to do with things actually going bad because they don't have people to pick it, or
or it
there's
could be the sun and Saturn's together having that Pisces effect to something fermenting. And that is where Virgo rules that intestines. It rules where the good bacteria is stationed to be your best defense, your best immune defense. Probably learning that it's one of the better defenses against diseases than any other part of your immune system is your gut.
right,
And that's Virgo's ruling section there. So this is the moon of that kind of thing, you
right.
know.
So be gentle with your gut
What
and
about a fast? Well,
trust your gut, right?
yeah, or even a fast during this eclipse time would be for an hour or 2 hours or something where you completely fast and really check in with how you're feeling because Virgo is that health component that we all have to think about.
Right. Right. So this is where the eclipse is going to be. This is what you'll see, this is where you'll see the
Yeah.
eclipse. And
Yeah.
it's the Americas, Canada, Greenland,
So
Panama, South America, America, Hawaii, even Hawaii. Can't see it, but it's like right over here. Even Hawaii is included in this.
yeah.
So the
Um,
whole of the United States, the moon being eclipsed.
yeah. I mean, I hope it's a clear night. I hope we have sun. I hope it's a clear night so I can and I hope it's not too windy. If I get up on the roof, it should be good. It should be good. We'll see.
Well, I think here we're supposed to get a storm coming through, so I don't know if we'll see anything. We'll feel it though.
But if they want me to see it, they want me to see it. If they don't want me to see it, they're not going to let me see it.
But you're gonna feel it either way.
You're gonna feel it either way. So the stone that sort of attracted me, and I could not trace it back to Virgo, was selenite. And I've been holding this kind of in my pocket because it makes me feel good.
Mhm.
We talked about this before. It is one of those things. It's a palm stone, but sometimes it's a cool stone on a hot spot.
Mhm. And it is a stone that connects you with your higher self. And it is a stone that doesn't need to be cleansed. In fact, it energizes other stones.
So that's a Virgo theme too, the cleaner.
Yeah,
The
the purification.
that's the kind of Pac-Man of stones.
That's something else you might experience on this full moon is a detoxification or a release of toxins. So
It could be.
keep that in mind.
It could be right, because of the Pisces thing. Giblets had that episode a couple of weeks ago, and if that was a pre or a premonition of that's how this moon is going to manifest itself.
Be kind to your colon, and your colon will be kind to you.
Pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It was a rough day. But I feel like that would be a good sort of segue is to really check in on how you feel with your body,
Mhm.
your gut, nourishing your gut, fasting it, not nourishing it, doing a
Giving
fast.
it a rest.
Yeah.
Giving it a rest. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this eclipse is going to be really interesting. This is time to write it down.
Very true. And then I picked
Yeah.
moss agate for my stone.
That's a Virgo. We know Virgo's an earth sign
Right. Yeah.
and it's mutable, always wants to make something like look a little bit better.
Yeah. And it's service, it's
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
And maybe you know, it's about serving for those of us who take care of everybody else. Maybe we need to ease up on that a little and take care of ourselves.
I think that's a good idea. It is that we're always trying to promote self-care, yet I find myself sometimes hard to appreciate what that really means because I've always been generating. I don't know what he's gotten into. It's always trying to like taking care of somebody else was taking care of myself. Not really.
Right, right. I
Oh,
agree.
no,
Some days I'll just like
no.
I just won't do anything. Like there are rare days that I just like loll around and don't have a plan to do something or have appointments or something like that. I used to feel terrible. I used to feel like an awful person for doing that.
Yeah.
Now I just enjoy it. Now I'm like, you know what? I worked hard enough. I can take a little break and I'll give myself a day or two to do that.
Which is the hardest thing a Virgo has to do is to like say, oh, it's okay. I'm going to give myself a break. But it is next to the South Node. So that is the best thing to do
Right.
is to say, I need a break from this. I need air or whatever. And to do that for this full moon lunar eclipse. Watch it, don't watch it. Hopefully, it'll be clear enough that you'll be able to capture it. I'm going to get as much of it as I can. I see that this moon also has a lot of different names to it. It's a worm moon. Earth rooms are coming up. Crow moon is a Native American name. Chaste moon by the pagan community, Virgo, Virgin Mary. The sap moon, apparently,
It's when the
that's
sap starts to rise. Yeah.
and the blood moon because of the eclipse and the distance. So it's gonna look super, super orange, red, maybe a little irritated, a little inflamed because of the redness there. So how that sort of generates to you is how you're going to experience this moon. And if you have a breakthrough, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's Uranus. That makes sense. Yeah. People are waking up and we already know that everybody out there is, right?
Mhm.
I'll show you the altar
Be
and
be kind to each other, be as kind as you can be. Don't take any crap from anybody, of course, but just, kind of live and let live this and observe and try not to worry. It's near impossible, but
right.
you can do it. You just, when everything is going to poop, focus on the thing that you have that you can affect, that you can do, and that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Even if it's just moment to moment. Life is a moment to moment experience anyway. So
Uh,
why waste all your energy on worrying about the future or bemoaning the past? It's time to be in the moment.
yes. And the more time you spend is sort of like berating or, worrying about changing what other people think or how you're going to change whether you have to just change what you're thinking and not care about what other people think. It's a
That's
hard
right.
thing with this Virgo, with this moon next to the South Node. It's a challenge for you to not overthink to not take yourself too seriously, to give yourself a break, widen that margin of error. It's okay. That's a scary place for a Virgo to go into.
Yes, I know. I know. I
Scary
know.
place. It's so
Especially those of us born in the 60s who have their Pluto in Virgo. It's like so deep. Like, I
Mars.
know we can fix this. I know one more try.
I
Just
can do
relax.
any friggin' thing.
Let go and let God. Let the divine figure it out and you take care of yourself.
Yeah. And if it's really hard for some of you Virgos, it's something easy like just kick the laundry down the stairs. Something that like it is not going to hurt anybody,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It will work. Love you guys, love you guys, love you guys so much. Thank you so much. There'll be more full moon stuff. This was an awesome moonshine. Thank you, Dr. Vicky, so much.
My
And
pleasure.
happy full moon lunar eclipse.
We'll see you on Mystic Sisters on Saturday on my channel this week. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
After the eclipse. Woo, we'll have plenty to talk about.
We'll have plenty to talk about.
Bye, everyone.